a system of social security. It's ideologically driven because it's not about saving money. As this chief executive of this housing association said this morning, there's been a whole shift away in the past, driven by public policy, driven by governments, not to build one-bedroom houses, not to build one-bedroom flats. And when people signed their lease for two-bedroom flats or three-bedroom houses, based on their projected needs at that time, they didn't sign up on the basis that it could be whipped away from them in 10, 20 or 20 years' time, whatever it was that they signed the lease. So it's wrong anyway. But the fact is, because there's no one-bedroom houses, somebody might get shifted out of the public sector from social housing, because there are no one-bedroom houses in social housing, because they can't afford to pay the premium of the bedroom tax, and then have to get housed in a private let. Because it's only private sector housing that's got one-bedroom housing. So they end up in what the government says is the right number of bedrooms, but the rent for the two-bedroom social housing flat might be £300 a month. But they have to pay £42 themselves of that because they've got too many bedrooms. But the private flat they move into, with one bedroom, they've got the right number of bedrooms, that's £400 a month, which will come from housing benefit. But that's alright, because they've got the right number of bedrooms. It is completely illogical. And that is the kind of government that we are living under. And it is about time that we said, how dare they? And today, you had a committee in Westminster, I think it was the Defence Committee, taking evidence about independence and defence after the Grogan debacle last week as well. Saying, oh well, Portsmouth might get to build ships again, because if Scotland votes yes, then there will be no contracts for Govan. We'll build the ships in Portsmouth. That's blackmail. That's blackmail. And saying in a democratic country, you dare not vote for your self-determination, you dare not assert your democratic right to govern your own affairs, or we will remove resources from you. We will arrive at your door and chop it down and demand your jobs and demand billions of pounds from your economy. So much for partnership. How dare they? So we have a government in Westminster that's privatising everything, that's on its knees bowing down to big corporations and chief executives, that's privatising everything, including social security and calling it welfare, into companies like Atos, who are persecuting people whose lives are bloody hard enough. And I've discovered just today, there was an article in The Independent, I was at the Guardian, I can't remember, just a recent article. The accounts of Atos, G4S and a number of other these companies who earned billions from your taxes, billions and billions and billions, have paid no corporation tax in the last year. Not a penny. Atos hasn't paid a penny. And yet they get privileges in the Westminster halls. They've got it written into new legislation. They've got business buddies in the Westminster government. What do we have? What guarantees do we have to have the kind of country, the kind of lives we want to live? What guarantees do we have that our children and grandchildren won't be held hostage by a latter-day baron pirate on the seas in his yacht? How dare they? So we do have an opportunity, and women particularly have an opportunity to change all that. And as Alan says, all it takes is a cross on the ballot paper. And we need to think ahead to future generations and past generations and think, what would they think about what we do? Given everything that's been done to us, what would they think about what we do in these circumstances? And we go, oh no, I'm not sure. I think we're too weak. I think we're too poor. I think it's time to stand up and take responsibility. For women particularly, there are examples of better countries, of better worlds. When you look at inequality, there's a gender inequality index across the world. We published the latest report a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. And they rank countries across the world for how well they've addressed the gender gap in terms of economy, voting rights, all of the rest of it. Representation in parliament, political power, business power, education, all of these things, they rank all the countries. Out of the top 10 countries in the world for women, none of them are perfect, by the way. Everybody can improve. But out of the top 10 countries for equality of women, 9 out of 10 are small countries with populations under 10 million. All of the top places go to the Nordic countries. Iceland is number 1. All social democratic countries, all countries with far more progressive taxation policies than we have, all with progressive policies that makes women and men's quality of life much better. The working week is shorter, wages are higher, the wealth gap is lower, children are looked after better, there's better childcare, there's better maternity leave, there's better parental leave. For everybody, everybody's work-life balance is better. And the birth rate is higher. And they'll give our younger people to support older people's pensions. They don't have a problem supporting their older generation because a bigger proportion of their people are economically active and there are more young people sustaining the economy. There is no reason for us to be living in one of the most unequal countries in the world. No reason other than we do not get the government that we vote for. So, I think I've used up probably more of my time than I intended to. I'm going a wee bit errant tonight. But I'm really interested in how people in Grangemouth, particularly in Falkirk and the surrounding area, whose jobs have been really, and lives have been dependent on the say-so of one man. I'm really interested in what people have to say here tonight. What lessons do you think there are in that? And I'm particularly interested in the women's voices here tonight about what you think it is women need to hear to ensure they vote for autonomy, they vote for independence for Scotland and independence for women.